So pleased to be joined by a man who understands the complicated politics of the region, Dr. Walid Phares. He's a Middle East expert and author of the book, The Lost Spring, U.S. Policy in the Middle East and Catastrophes to Avoid. Dr. Phares, it's always great to have you with us here on America's Forum.
Thank you so much for having me this morning.
All right, so we just had a conversation with General Paul Valley. I want to talk about the regional politics, the push and pull in that region in just a minute. But first, we've heard reports, new reports, that Turkey has opened up a little bit, allowing U.S. forces to use some of their air bases in the ongoing battle against ISIS. How big and how important of a step is this for Turkey to open up and allow U.S. troops to use their bases?
Unfortunately, this is a step that is in slow motion, which means that the Turks have said, okay, we're going to have now a delegation coming from the United States, looking at the bases, studying the situation. It will take a week for the assessment. Meanwhile, the Battle of Kobani is going on. So the president of Turkey can say, I have opened the discussion about my participation. It's not clear what I'm going to be doing. But on the ground, it is crucial that every day now in Kobani, you could see either the Kurdish forces being defeated, or you could see ISIS surrounding the city completely, so that our action from Turkey is irrelevant. What is needed now is for the Turks to actually advance. We can't do anything from the air to save that city at this point in time. We can delay, but the Turks needs to move in. It's only a couple of kilometers, secure the city, and then discuss with the United States what can be done later if we want to save Kobani.
Now, is it surprising to you that Turkey has been so reluctant to act, considering that this administration, the Obama administration, made specific steps to try and make friends with Erdogan and the Turkey government, giving them those missiles, those defense missiles that were supposed to be kind of a peace offering, an olive branch, if you will, as ironic as that might sound? Are you surprised Turkey is taking so long, dragging their heels here?
I'm not surprised about the policy of Turkey, of the AKP government in Turkey. Remember that Ankara and Washington under the Obama administration, under the Erdogan government, were partners. On Syria, we were partners. The two countries were partners until the Obama administration decided not to go against the Assad regime and bring it down, which created some sort of frustration in Turkey, because Erdogan wants Assad to go, and he wants his friends to take over in Syria. So it's a very complicated situation. The Obama administration were not prepared for ISIS, had to deal with the issue of ISIS. So now they're asking Mr. Erdogan, help us on ISIS. And he's telling us, yeah, I'll help you on ISIS if you help me bring down Assad. And that's something President Obama cannot do and will not do.
Well, we heard from Paul Valley a second ago, and I want to get your take on something that he floated, an idea that he floated. There is a closed-door discussion going on between the interested parties, Turkey, the United States, etc., on perhaps allowing Kobani to fall in order to appease Iran. Do you think there's any validity to that?
I'm not sure where the general got that report. He may have his own sources. I feel from my sources inside Turkey that the government of Turkey doesn't want to rescue Kobani as is, meaning to move in, rescue the city, and have the Kurdish forces in place become in charge of the city. That's the secret. That's the equation. What they would like to see is that they would save Kobani, unfortunately, after those forces would be withdrawn. So it's a little bit dramatic here in the sense that the Turkish position wants to see those militias leaving, and then they would want to come and create a security zone. But that would be very dangerous to do, because ISIS would have taken the city, ethnic cleansed the people, reached the international border. And I'm predicting or projecting something else. After Kobani, they're going to move west towards another Kurdish city on that border, and then east towards another Kurdish and Christian area inside Syria. They're not going to stop in Kobani.
Well, that's at least the indication. We've heard that from the Pentagon as well at the press briefing, saying that they're not going to stop with Kobani. I wanted to get your take on something that the former Secretary of State James Baker said. Well, let's play that, and I'll get your reaction, Dr. Phares, on the other side.
Iran is very much opposed to what ISIS is doing. I wouldn't be at all surprised if Iran was not helping us quietly deal with some of this.
So if Iran is helping us quietly or otherwise, what does this do with the U.S. relationship with Israel and other not-so-friendly nations with Iran in the arena?
Before we get to Israel and the other Arab markets that are targeted by the Iranians, this assessment has to be reviewed. Iran is not helping us against ISIS. Iran has a problem with ISIS. It is using this battle to further penetrate Iraq. Actually, there are more Iranian troops, more Iranian operatives inside Iran than ever before, between Baghdad and Basra. The Iranians are even trying to penetrate eastern Kurdistan in the north. The Iranians are frustrated because ISIS cut off the highway they had, the imaginary, visionary highway between Tehran, Baghdad, Damascus, and Lebanon. That's their own battle. They're not doing this to help us against ISIS. Of course, when ISIS was battling in Syria, they were not very concerned. But when ISIS cut off that highway, then they came and are trying to help us. So I would strongly recommend that our strategy against ISIS should not include a strengthening of the Iranian regime.
And that's the difficult choice that seems to have to be made in this situation. And again, I want to go back to something General Valley has said, that maybe this is not worth it at this point, that things are so out of control that maybe putting additional lives, U.S. lives at risk, isn't going to help the situation anymore. Do you agree?
Look, under this policy, if you ask me, the Obama administration current policy, can we involve troops on the ground? No, because the Obama administration policy does not see a vast strategy to bring down the Assad regime, to defeat ISIS on the ground, to defend the Kurds in a strategic way, and to bring down the minorities back to their areas. If that was the case, I would submit that yes, we could help. But without a grand strategy that would be, in the sense of defeating the enemy, both the ISIS, Al-Qaeda, and stopping the Iranian influence, short of that, it would not be worth it to put troops on the ground. I agree.
And what do you feel like is, I guess, the bigger threat at this point, a continued advancement of ISIS throughout that region, or something that you may have suggested earlier, which is a more coordinated, a closely aligned Iraq and Iran together?
Look, practically on the ground now we have to stop ISIS, because unlike with Iran, if we don't stop ISIS, ISIS is going to continue to grow. And I even have a map. I see where ISIS is going, to Lebanon, to Jordan, to Saudi, to other places. Even inside Iran, there is a Sunni area they would like to go to. But at the same time, we need to pay attention not to make a mistake while fighting ISIS, to open our flanks for the Iranians. The Iranians are fighting in Yemen, or the pro-Iranian militias are now seizing Yemen. They soon will start working on Bahrain and eastern Saudi Arabia.
So it continues. Dr. Phares, we're going to leave it there for a second. We'll have you back. We'll continue this discussion in just a few moments. A lot going on in the Middle East, a lot of moving parts, maybe some stuff going on beyond closed doors that we don't want to know about. More ahead after this Newsmax Now update.